tell you which one of the young men in the trunks is Pazienza with the fashion statement again tonight.
Nice gold lame and leopard. I think my wife had that outfit last New Year's Eve. And we were wondering where it went.
I think we found it. Pazienza gives you a lot of motion. VanKirk tries to wade in, throws one to the body, acknowledged by Vinny.
And you know, Pazienza is starting this round. He's boxing and moving, but as Johnny Boz said in our pre-fight preview, he says Pazienza by nature is a street fighter. And once the fight gets underway, that's what he's going to want to do. So let's keep our eyes out for that.
Pazienza paid quite a price in winning the IBF lightweight title from Greg Haugen here in Providence. That coming in 1987 in June. He not only got a broken nose, the right hand was bruised, and got a cut over the left eye that was very close to maybe stopping that fight.
And he went into that fight sick from an eating binge. He had really starved himself to make the weight. And then right after the weigh-in, like a lot of fighters do, he gorged himself. It was very close to him not being able to fight that day, but he wound up going 15.
Haugen retained that title, as a matter of fact, in February the next year, or he regained it, should I say. And both of those fights going the full 15 rounds. Classic 30 rounds.
And he just nailed VanKirk with a right hand. And you can see the difference in the hand speed. It's all Pazienza when it comes to hand speed. VanKirk said he was going to crowd Pazienza a bit, and he also said Pazienza can be beaten with a jab. He really hasn't tried too many yet.
And almost on cue, tries a couple.
Right. Thanks for proving me right there, Eddie. He says that Roger Mayweather beat Pazienza with a jab, which is absolutely true, and he said he was going to try to do the same thing.
VanKirk loading the combination, caught on the gloves by Vinny.
He caught Vinny there with the right hand. That's one thing about Pazienza. He's never been hard to hit.
Counters well, mostly with the left hook. Good right hand over the top. Most important people in this fight before it's over. Ace Murata working in the corner of Pazienza. Frank Gilbert along with Jimmy Hines working in the corner of VanKirk. Both in their careers have been easily cut.
And VanKirk especially has a lot of scar tissue above both eyes.
So it's round one, nears an end. We'll be back after this regional break. The main event is on. Pazienza against VanKirk will return in a moment. This is round number 4, main event tonight. Sports Channel America's Pro Boxing Turf, Providence, Rhode Island. Here by Cranston, Rhode Island, the home of the man they call Vinny Paz in the goal. You know, that third round, even though Hector Camacho was giving us all of his song and dance on what he was going to do, was a very good round for VanKirk.
It really was, you know, because he's a tough kid. If he feels like he's not going to be knocked out, he's just going to come forward and punch. Now, I'll tell you one thing about Camacho. For all of his clowning around and all, he's an excellent student of boxing. And if you notice, he dissected Pazienza for us there in about 30 seconds, told us exactly what it would take to beat him, and he's right. But there aren't that many fighters that can do it. Obviously, he thinks he's one of them.
You're not going on the line already on that one, are you?
No, I wouldn't do that. I said Hector thinks he's one of them. Actually, I think Hector Camacho at his best certainly could do it. I just don't know which Hector Camacho we're going to see anymore.
VanKirk has come out in the third and now the fourth round and has given Vinny a pretty good fight here.
Somehow I just don't believe Camacho when he says he doesn't care who wins this fight. I just think he can't take it. He can't bring himself to say he'd like to see Pazienza win it. There's a good right hand and then a left hook by VanKirk.
VanKirk will be enjoying his biggest payday ever, about $7,500 in this fight. No one cut yet here in the fourth, but again, that's a main concern, particularly for Pazienza and certainly for VanKirk, more for Vinny than otherwise.
And even in a way for Camacho, because if Pazienza gets cut and that fight gets pushed back or postponed or even canceled, that's not going to be a good day for Hector.
Good right hand by Pazienza.
And actually, VanKirk came across with a right hand of his own. So he's going almost punch for punch with Pazienza. Those were two good body shots there, though. the thing that makes Pazienza a tough opponent for Camacho is that he never stops. You know, he's the kind of fighter that keeps coming, and Camacho is taken to just fighting in parts of each round. A good left hook. Luckily for Pazienza, he was moving away from it.
That was a good punch indeed, and he knocked
another one.
A good one.
But he was moving to his own left, and he took some of the sting out of it. That one he caught flush.
I'll tell you what, Vinny Paz has a little different look in his eye right now because VanKirk is hitting.
I'm not sure exactly what Pazienza is trying to do here, but he certainly did not plan on getting hit with those punches.
Vinny lost in November of '88 to Roger Mayweather. Junior welterweight title fight. Since that time, he's had a couple of straight knockouts. Joe Carollo along with Vince Borghese. Again, this is a big fight in a tune-up.
We've got a nick now along that right eye of VanKirk, a small one.
Rhode Island, I just moved us south a little bit. Here in Rhode Island.
I don't think they would appreciate that here.
Well, that ring moved in a hurry, didn't it?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he may have come out with a victory there in that fourth round. We're round 5.
The fourth. Absolutely.
And you know, the third was very close to being somewhat of an even round.
Yeah. A close round. I gave it to Pazienza, but I wouldn't be surprised. Well, maybe I would since we're in Providence. I wouldn't be shocked if one or two of the judges gave it to VanKirk.
VanKirk's corner all full of applaudants over there. They like what they've seen from Eddie VanKirk tonight.
Pazienza's nose looks very swollen, doesn't it?
There's a trip. So a couple of times on the canvas tonight for VanKirk. Both of them have been slips, though.
Let's take a look at that nose of Pazienza if we get the chance. Oh, it's been broken countless times, but it seems to be swollen on the right side. It looks very different from when he first came in. And here we see exactly what we said earlier, that Pazienza would fall into a street fight.
And it's a brawl now.
And when it becomes a brawl, he's really on even terms with VanKirk. Right. And this is the kind of a fighter that if you want to out-finesse him, you'll have no problem. But if you go toe-to-toe with him like this, you're giving him a shot. And that's exactly what Pazienza's doing.
Well, VanKirk had a 1-900 number and said, if you dial it, he said, I want to brawl. And that's exactly where he is in round 5, that's for sure. Now, when does Vinny decide that this is not the tactic?
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Pazienza. Once he falls into this pattern, I've never seen him fall out of it. You know what I mean? Once he decides that he's going to brawl, this is usually it for the rest of the night. That's a good right hand in there by Pazienza. That right hand that comes over the top is a punch that he's gotten some good knockouts with.
And that last little flurry, going downstairs, working all the way up by Pazienza.
That was a left hook and an elbow to the jaw is what it was. The good left hook, and he followed it with an elbow right to the head, and VanKirk is not going to make it.
VanKirk,
no way they're sending him out there again. Look at him.
No, it's over.
He's saying, come on, but no, there's no way. You know, the body work from Pazienza is what set it up. He flurried to the body. He came up to the top of the left hook. And I think on the replay, we're going to see a good solid elbow after it. But it doesn't matter. He was knocked out.
So